There are people who travel to find something. And then there are people who travel because they cannot stop. This is the story of the second kind. No one could remember when the wandering man first appeared. Some said he arrived on a bus that never stopped long enough for anyone to see where it came from. Others swore he simply emerged one morning at the edge of town, standing beside the road with a small suitcase and no shadow. What everyone agreed on was this: he was always passing through. The man wore the same clothes no matter the season: a faded coat, scuffed boots, a hat pulled low. His face suggested an age without committing to one. You could look at him and see 40 or 60 or something in between that made you uncomfortable to guess. He walked with purpose but without urgency, as if he had nowhere to be, yet couldn't stay. The first time Clara saw him, he was standing outside the diner just after dawn. She'd worked there for 12 years and had seen every kind of traveler: drifters, salesmen, runaways, men avoiding something and women chasing it. But this man didn't look hungry. He looked unfinished. "Coffee?" Clara asked, holding the door open. He smiled politely. "Thank you, but I don't stop." She frowned. "Everyone stops." "Not everyone," he said, and continued down the road. That night Clara dreamed of a highway that folded back on itself like a ribbon, and a man walking until the soles of his boots wore thin. The wandering man appeared in different towns, always briefly. In a farmhouse kitchen, asking for water, but never sitting down. In a train station, standing just close enough to the platform edge that conductors noticed him, but never boarding. In a church doorway, listening to hymns without stepping inside. People felt compelled to speak to him. "Where are you headed?" they asked. He always gave the same answer: "Just ahead." It was delivered kindly, firmly, as if further explanation would be a burden. Children noticed him first. They pointed him out to their parents. "That man looks tired," they said. Or worse, "That man looks lost." But the wandering man never appeared confused. He never checked maps, never hesitated at crossroads. He simply followed the road wherever it led, even when it curved back toward where he'd already been. Once, a boy named Henry ran alongside him. "Mister." The boy asked, "What happens when you get there?" The man slowed. His smile faltered. "Not much, just enough. I'll let you know," he said. Henry never saw him again. The man did not age. Seasons changed around him. Towns modernized. Roads were paved, then repaved again. He remained. People who met him once often dreamed of him afterward. Always walking, always alone, always moving just out of reach. A woman in Nebraska swore she saw him in an old photograph, standing at the edge of a crowd during a parade in 1934. A man in Oregon recognized him from a newspaper clipping dated before the war. They compared notes. The coat was the same. The suitcase was the same. The eyes were always searching forward, never back. The truth began to surface in fragments. A librarian noticed that wherever the wandering man appeared, someone else disappeared soon after. Not dramatically, no missing persons reports, just quiet absences. A room left empty, a chair no longer filled, a life that slowly unraveled until it seemed as though it had never quite settled anywhere at all. The wandering man did not take these people. He replaced them. One night, during a heavy rain, he stopped, not by choice. The road ended at a collapsed bridge, washed out and impassable for the first time in decades. The man had nowhere to walk forward. He stood there, rain soaking into his coat, suitcase heavy in his hand. Behind him, the road stretched back endlessly ahead. Nothing. A woman approached from the opposite direction, umbrella shaking in the wind. "Looks like you'll have to turn around," she said. The man looked at the empty space where the bridge had been. "No," he replied softly. "This is where I arrive." The woman blinked. "When did you leave?" she asked. The man opened his mouth. No answer came. The rain slowed, the world grew quiet. The man set down his suitcase and opened it for the first time. Inside were objects that did not belong together. A child's shoe, a wedding ring, a bus ticket faded beyond recognition, a house key with no address, each item pulsed faintly as if warm with memory. I didn't finish. The man whispered. The road behind him shimmered, footsteps echoed, his own overlapping, thousands of them. The woman backed away slowly. "You're not supposed to stop," she said, voice trembling. The man smiled. I was never supposed to leave. By morning, the bridge was intact again. The road stretched forward, the suitcase lay empty at the roadside. The wandering man was gone. But somewhere, in a town that feels slightly incomplete, someone has started walking. They don't know why.